Nearly 2 years ago, 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Korbel was killed in her own home by a gunman chasing a drug-dealing rival. Now, a new Channel 4 documentary offers an insight into how Merseyside police dealt with the aftermath of her murder.
The biggest difficulty for authorities was the so-called no grass culture, which saw criminals protected by a wall of silence. In a moment, we'll speak to Olivia's mother, Cheryl, but first, here's a clip from Merseyside detectives.
Joining us now is Olivia's mum, Cheryl, and Cheryl's cousin, Antonia. You're both in it, aren't you? You're both in the documentary. And good morning to you. It's obviously very close to the 2-year anniversary, so it's never off your mind. It's always your present moment, isn't it? The loss. But this documentary team were already with Merseyside Police, weren't they? They obviously had to have your permission for it to be actually in the documentary. How did you decide that you wanted to be in it? Because it's incredibly painful to have it out there and people watching it and you have to watch it.
Yeah, when I was first asked, I said yeah straight away.
Did you?
I was on all kinds of painkillers and whatnot, so I didn't really know what I was letting myself in for. But as time went on, it was like I totally forgot about the documentary being made. And then when I was reminded, I was like, yeah, no, we'll be involved in it.
And what is the motivation for that? What is it that you want? Why do you want the nation to see it from the inside?
So people understand what the police have done. And the family being involved. Sorry.
Take your time.
It's having Olivia's voice heard and seeing us as a family that, you know, this is real life and this does happen to families. I think it does affect absolutely every part of your life. Nothing will ever be the same. And I think to participate in the documentary also gave Cheryl the opportunity of ensuring what would be in that documentary and that it, you know, it sheds light in the correct way, but also highlights what the police do and the hard work that the police do and try and change that
the police do get a
stigma.
bad rap, right, quite often.
Absolutely.
And part of
Yeah.
you is like, you want to show, what do you want people to see about Merseyside Police?
The work, the tireless work that they done. Some officers didn't want to go home. They were literally told, no, you need to go home. You need to go and get some sleep. They were on it constantly.
It's really hard, isn't it? It's really hard.
You know, Cheryl, the thing you're doing this for Olivia, aren't you? And it's in honour of your little girl, and to try and make life mean even more, not just to you but to everybody, and to have an impact on your community. The interesting thing, and I think it must be the greatest challenge, is that you're sat here now and people from your community will be watching and they'll watch this documentary. But the one single thing that affects that community is this grass culture, this idea that you can't talk about the most horrific crimes and offences that are happening that are affecting their own people. And that makes the police jobs harder and also gives the criminals carte blanche to carry on the way they are. So,
Yeah, it does.
what would you say to your community, your friends, your neighbours, people living in the streets nearby? What is your message to them about this hideous, no grass culture that takes place?
Anything that you know, you need to speak up. I don't know how anyone can live with the conscience of knowing something that really bad has happened. You know that the people that have done it, they need to speak up. If it was themselves, they've got to think that if it happened to themselves, they'd want somebody else to speak up if they knew about who it was or what was going on. You can't keep quiet, because it's just going to carry on and it's going to get worse.
Well, that's the point. You end up in this vicious circle, don't you? When you don't respect the law, the power ends up in the criminals and the gangs. Yeah. And well, what are the police there for? And how's the community going to get any better? It'll just get worse, won't it?
Yeah.
It will.
I think we have also, you know, we understand the fear factor. People are frightened of repercussions and, you know, we're not naive to that fact.
But it can be done anonymously as well.
There's lots
you
of
don't have to give your name in.
And quite often, sometimes when you hear these cases, they are anonymous tip-offs. There'll be an anonymous call that, look, I think you need to look in that direction, or here's a bit of information. And sometimes just that small bit of information can go a long way, I suspect, for the police.
Absolutely.
You're appealing to people, aren't you, in general, I suppose, to ride over their fear and find their moral compass. Like, even if you're a criminal, you understand the love a parent has for a child. I mean, people aren't born criminals. They come from families. They have family, don't they?
Yeah.
And they understand fear. They may have lost people themselves through this gang culture, through this drugs business, through all of this. And they are human beings as well. I mean, it's really, you know,
They have a heart.
They have something in them, don't they?
Yeah.
That reminds them that this is completely
and that's where
abominable.
I say if it happens to them, although, you know, they're a criminal, if it happens to them, they're going to want someone, they want to find out who it is.
And did watching the documentary, and obviously you were in it and it's about your life, can you remember how you felt about the police beforehand, and has it increased your sort of understanding and respect for what the police actually do in these circumstances and how hard they work, or what is your view now on that? Because many people have quite a difficult view of the police, I think.
Yeah, but we were brought up to respect the police.
Yeah.
If anything, we were scared, really.
You were scared,
yeah.
Absolutely. If you were into trouble and got took home by the police, by your mum, to your mum and dad, you know, that just wasn't questionable. I think the sentencings and the governments need to be stepping up as well now. You know, there needs to be tougher.
Yeah, you're both calling for a change in sort of the gun crime laws. What is it, Antonio, you tell us, what is it that you'd like to see happen?
I think, obviously, what we've campaigned for is very close to us, because, obviously, the culprit didn't attend the court on the day of his sentence, and so that was what we've been campaigning for, and we will continue to do that until it is officially law. But,
which we think is likely to happen, isn't it?
Well, that's the nice word, isn't it? Is likely. So until it's law, then we won't go away quietly. But I think now, because of especially what's happened in Southport, and, you know, there's other crimes that have, you know, are still unsolved. That week for Liverpool was horrendous. Our family, Ashley's and Sam Rimmer's. And I think hopefully from the documentary, people might speak up for Sam as well. But I think for us as a family, the government need to be looking at stringent, like, sentences if you're found with a weapon. There's something has to change.
So more severe punishment, more severe sentences.
There's no consequences anymore to people's behaviours and actions from when we were growing up.
Do you get a sense in that sort of gang culture in places like Liverpool, they think, well, you know, the risk is OK, I'll carry the gun, or I'll carry it for someone, or I'll deliver a gun here.
I think it's everywhere.
Because actually the punishment, I can probably, you know, I can probably cope with a few years.
I think it's everywhere. I don't think it's just Liverpool.
Oh, I know, it's just...
Absolutely, I think because there isn't no consequences for them actions anymore, and people are not frightened. They're not frightened of the police like we were. No. We were brought up to have that respect. And I'm not saying people who are into these crimes aren't brought up with that respect, but it seems to have just been waylaid somewhere.
Look, we've seen in the last couple of weeks, haven't we, actually, you know, the kind of disdain for the police. And I know the police aren't all innocent. They are a group of people, and there will be people within that police force. But you're absolutely right to highlight it. I think the fact that we perhaps need to have a little bit more respect for those people that are trying to maintain the law in this country.
And I've been sat here looking at your arm because you've got a lovely butterfly tattoo with Olivia's name on it. And I asked you before I came out, is that new? But it's not. She knew you had it.
Yeah. I have two other children that have their names on the bottom of me back. So Liv asked where her name was going. It wouldn't fit on the back, so I said, I'll put it on the arm underneath the butterfly.
Love that.
And it's obviously coming up to 2 years, August the 22nd, isn't it? How do you approach that date? What's the plan? Do you have a way to remember her?
We just do something fun.
Do you?
Yeah. Last year we ended up in Dunham Massey
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Lovely,
Yeah.
beautiful park. I know it well.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the animals, the deers.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
roaming free.
Yeah.
Just very personal and private, just
Yeah.
the family. And it was lovely, wasn't it? And then we went back and we made our Olivia's favourite cocktail. That obviously is.
What was
very
it?
much-
What was the cocktail?
So there's obviously the video that's been aired millions of times is she has lemonade and blackcurrant juice.
Oh, lovely.
It has to be Vimto though.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I
Does
love
it?
that.
So you'll have to have Vimto
So
on
we
the day.
all had
Oh,
that
bless.
in the
Yeah,
evening, didn't
I
we?
love
And
that. And you know, this is all so public for you. It's all so public. But when the cameras go away and when the news cycle moves on to something else or you're not talking about it publicly, it's your private grief constant. How are you? And how are your other children? It's an impossible thing for most of us to really understand or empathise. You know, I have a son, a 12-year-old, and, you know, like, it's impossible to speak about it
Yeah.
and sit opposite you and not feel devastated for you.
I'm not going to lie. Every day is hard to actually get out of bed.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've got 2 other children. But waiting for me 2 other children, no disrespect to family and friends, yeah, it'll be a totally different story.
Totally different story.
I get up for them every day, as grown up as they are.
And, you know, it's interesting because after what happened in Southport, a lot of the conversation was, how do you make your children feel safe? You know, they were just at a Taylor Swift dance club, but this was in your home. How do you tell children in your family that the world isn't evil?
You can't, because they can't be growing up to be naive about it. You need to explain for them to understand.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
We've got, obviously, Cheryl and my
Yeah.
children, they're older now, but we have got younger children in
Yeah.
the family. And
And this is a story of your family now. I mean, Olivia is always going to be the big story of what happened in this family.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But she'll never be forgotten by our
No.
family. And to say, obviously, we have Olivia's foundation as well.
Yes.
So we do lots of stuff which is fun, and that's Cheryl's age. So, like Olivia's birthday, we done a big fun day event.
Did you?
We had fun fair, and it was just a great day. And it's putting back into the community, but it's also teaching the children that, you know what, life can be fun.
Yes. I think that's
Life
really,
can be fun.
really lovely way.
Whenever
Thank
we
you.
lose people, I always believe they're still with us in our hearts.
Absolutely.
But in Olivia's case, I think you know, the hope for all of us, it means that even more that there is a real difference to what's happening in communities like Liverpool, and that, you know, this no grass culture does change, and that could be a fantastic impact that Olivia's made into this world, and you both as well. Thank you so much, and I'm going to enjoy Vimto and lemonade this weekend, and I think a lot of us at home will as well.
And
Thank
if
you so
you've,
much.
Thank you.
If you've been affected by bereavement and some of these issues that we've been discussing, you can find support at itv.com/helplines. And of course, that documentary, is it Monday on Channel 4, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you so much.